Aloha everyone, and welcome to another Tinkers Academy video. I'm your host Kay Elmer, and this video is a further installment in the video series Benefits of Quantum Healing, where I've been documenting the independent third-party studies that have been commissioned by Leela Quantum Tech on the use of their quantum devices and quantum service, as well as documenting some of the user testimonies that have come up in our Telegram chat group. This particular video covers a new study that just came out here in June of 2024 on the quantum effect of food intolerances. So the study is now available on the website at leelaq.com and is titled The Influence of the Infinity Bloc Technology on Food Intolerances. The objective of this study now was to investigate the influence of the Leela Quantum Infinity Bloc on patients with food intolerances, and they asked two primary questions of the clinicians in trying to run the study, and these were the questions that were asked. Was number one, does the quantum field in the infinity block influence food intolerances by improving tolerance levels? And number two, to what extent does the quantum field affect individuals with food intolerances? Now, the study was conducted by the principal investigators, was conducted at a facility called the Naturopathic Clinic of Ruth Knauss. Hopefully I'm pronounce that correctly, that's located in Munich, Germany. The investigator was a individual by the name of Mirga Ehrlich-Stock, who holds a diploma in biology, works in the Department of Microbiology at the clinic, and she's been a naturopath in practice since 1986. The area of focus for this clinic is in bioresonance therapy, energy medicine, detoxification of modern pollutants, and consultation. So now this one is a little different in terms of the way that the study was conducted. It was conducted using a device called a meta-human device. Now this is a bioresonance device used in naturopathic clinics throughout the world, and it's based on the principles of quantum physics as well as quantum biology. So kind of give you a really simple idea of how bioresonance works, and it is a very, very, very established science. You'll find NIH studies about using these things, and it's used for therapy as well as diagnostics. But if you want to just consult Bing kind of has a really good explanation of what it is. So let's go ahead and ask Bing, which you know is connected to ChatGPT 4, on what is. So let me just go ahead and ask and let ChatGPT explain it to you. What is bioresonance?
Bioresonance is a type of therapy used in holistic or complementary medicine that uses a machine to measure the frequency of energy wavelengths coming from the body. It is based on modern biophysics, which teaches us that every cell in our body resonates at a particular frequency, which takes the form of electromagnetic field. Bioresonance therapy is a holistic, non-invasive way of diagnosing and treating various diseases, which involves the use of electrodes on the skin. The electrodes are connected to an energy wavelength machine called a BICOM device to detect unhealthy frequencies on the cells, such as viruses and cancer cells.
So what this machine essentially does, or what the software and all of these devices do, is it has in there, through the years of the development of the science of bioresonance, it has a database of exactly what, quote, a healthy and optimal performing organ and any area of the body. It already has it in a database, meaning that it's been studied and it's been documented. It's sitting in the software. It knows exactly what every single part of your body should look like from an electromagnetic resonance standpoint, and then it measures you against that that baseline, and it kind of determines whether or not what parts of your anatomy are having stress and or issues. And so that's what they do. Now the test procedure for this study was they tested three different types of foods, which was a gluten-containing bread, cow's milk, cheese, and cane sugar. The test procedure itself was to use the Infinity Bloc and the bioresonance device, and they basically would take the foods and they would place it on this little pad right here, which would then read the bioresonance signature of the food, and then they would then expose the person to that bioresonance using the device, and then they would test the energy signature of the food against the energy signature of the individual first, and then the second, that was the before picture, and then the after picture was they would take the food, place it in the Infinity Bloc for 3 minutes, and then they would run the test again. So the whole idea here is that they're not having people who have like IBS or gluten intolerance, and they're not here, eat this, see what happens to you. That they did it completely on a bioresonance standpoint, which was expose it to you, energetically, and then put it in the infinity block, and then re-expose it to the individuals to see how their body, their resonances were picking up the food, the energy signature of the food. So it's all done purely at a real quantum level. And again, it's an actual science, and it's pretty cool how it works. So that's the before and the after picture, right? They just basically would put, subject the person to the food, and then they would subject the person to the food after it was charged, using the bioresonance device called the MetaVital. Now, there's 4 participants in the study, age range from 41 to 61, and they basically is number 1 through 4, and each one of them had a different issue that they had. They had to go and find people that had issues. So the first one is an individual who had a gluten intolerance, and so they measured his response against the bread that contained gluten by evaluating the pancreas. Another individual, the number 2, has a leaky gut syndrome, and then they did the same with cheese, and then they took a look at the small intestine. And then with the third individual, who was pre-diabetic, they wanted to see exactly what the effect of cane sugar was on their pancreas, and they did the same thing for the 4th participant. So to kind of just pop you into the study itself, you can obviously go and read this on the website, but here's the basic study itself. It's pretty short, 4 pages. And so now, again, the software program has all of this built into the database. It's being able to measure everything. And so it goes with a color coding as well. For simplicity of use, just like the the bioenergetic devices at BESA. And so now this clinic used this device, and it basically color coded so that the different symbols that you see are on the various pictures that you'll be showing, and the pictures I'll be showing, which are from the software of the MetaVital human design, or human device, right? Shows the different colors that say, hey, basically, it's in good condition. That area of the body, the pancreas or the small intestines, are healthy. And then, of course, then it can actually pick up the resonance of when the organ is not healthy and it's being subjected to stress. And so there's a symbol here for imbalance. There's basically a triangle and then a diamond shape. You'll see, and I'll show you in a sec, where it's showing that, it's severely impaired condition. And then, of course, these little black squares, which means it's compensatory, sorry, capacity is no longer present, which means, hey, the organ is being negatively affected. So the first subject here was the gluten intolerance, and they took a look at the pancreas, and this is what a picture looks like. And so this is what a picture of their pancreas being exposed to gluten. And you can see where the initial picture, which was right off the bat, which was showing these down arrows, these down triangles. Now, these down triangles, again, basically imply that there's been an imbalance that is definitely negatively affecting them. You don't see any of these yellows. There's only one yellow. That's kind of the idea on how you read these. So basically, it's like, hey, you know what? There's an imbalance here. This individual is definitely struggling with gluten when they take a look at their pancreas when they're exposed to gluten. And then when they put the bread in the infinity block for 3 minutes and they retested the individual, you can see where all of the down triangles, the imbalances, are all completely gone now. And then they've actually gone to a very good condition. It's actually improved their bioresonance, their energy signature of the pancreas by having exposed to the food that's been charged in the quantum block, or the infinity block. And so right here, basically the image description, the software does an evaluation, and it shows, hey, that there's been a 71% enhancement of the body's compensatory reaction to the food that's charged as opposed to the food that's not charged. So in other words, that there was a 71% enhancement of the body's ability to handle gluten on an energetic basis. So number 2 is this individual here who had a leaky gut syndrome, and then what they did was they exposed this individual to cow's milk, cheese, and they evaluated the small intestine. Again, you'll see a lot of the down triangles saying that there's an imbalance, and that there's some yellows, and then they go over here and you see all of the down triangles turn to up triangles. okay, which means in the up triangles simply mean that it's become good conditions. So it's gone from an imbalance, if you take a look at this, that the pancreas is, I'm sorry, the small intestine is completely having an imbalance effect by being exposed to cheese with this individual who has leaky gut. And then once the cheese has been charged, that completely flips over from being imbalanced to tolerant. And so this software, on the software program, on this individual showed that the individual had a 44% enhancement of the body's ability to tolerate the cow's milk cheese on their leaky gut process, on their small intestine. The third one here is this individual is a pre-diabetic. They took a look at the pancreas. Again, you'll see a lot of the black, or you see these black squares, black diamonds. This means that there's quite a bit of a stress on the the pancreas right here. You'll see these severely impaired condition, and that's what that means. And so they're saying, showing severe conditions, you're showing damage. And so then that's the with individual with pre-diabetic, and you give them sugar, basically sugar, or they were using cane sugar on the pancreas. Okay, so they took a look at the pancreas, definitely said, hey, there's there's definitely an impact, a negative impact on the pancreas from this individual being exposed to cane sugar. And then of course, after they charged it, all of the symbols change over to an optimal condition, and the software reported that there was a 75% enhancement of the individual's ability to tolerate cane sugar after the sugar was charged. So that's an incredible increase in just the ability for the person to tolerate. So these, this is all about food intolerance, right? So again, the fourth one here was a pre-diabetic. Again, they tested they tested the pancreas on the exposure to cane sugar, and this individual here, again, from the up arrows, now the triangles and the overall condition of this pancreas wasn't too bad on this person, but then you could see the amount of yellow that appears on the after image, which was the charged food, sugar. And so this report here, the software basically said, when we measured this individual before and after, we showed a 51% enhancement of the body's ability to tolerate sugar. And so that's really how the software works and how the device works. And it basically, for every single individual, it demonstrated that there was an enhancement of the individual's ability to, tolerate the food, whether it was, someone with leaky gut or pre-diabetic and so forth. But overall, there was a 71 or 44%, all the way up to a 71% enhancement of the person's ability to tolerate those foods after they have been charged. And so this overall summary of the study was, the study shows that the quantum field within the Leela Quantum Infinity Bloc improved the tolerability of tested foods for each participant. An exposure period of 3 minutes to the Infinity Bloc was sufficient to alleviate the negative effects of these foods. This led to a restoration of physiological conditions, regulatory functions, and energy levels to stages ranging from satisfactory to optimal. Now, this is the key thing here. It's important to note that this study serves as a pilot investigation, and as such, definitive conclusions cannot yet be drawn. However, it illustrates a promising trend towards a significant enhancement in the quality of life concerning food intolerances. Further studies are planned to corroborate these findings, and results will be disseminated accordingly. So in parting, I'd like to just say that these findings are completely aligned with the testimonies that you'll be reading in the Telegram chat group of, there's over 7,000 members now, and over the last 3 years, and people have reported multiple different instances where people have intolerances to citrus or just anything. I mean, it's just like, I have an intolerance to MSG. I've done the same experiment myself, which I documented in the benefits of quantum healing on allergens, the very initial test that was done. And in every single instance where people are saying, hey, I used to have a problem with eating, kiwi fruit or whatever, but I put it in the block, and and then after I put it in the block and I ate it, I didn't have that reaction. And that story, those testimonies have been coming in for 3 years now. And so this bioresonance study that just came out really kind of exemplifies in a clinical setting the same thing that we're seeing in testimonial anecdotal reports. So it's quite remarkable that we've now actually have documentation or a study that actually has taken it to a scientific level and basically demonstrating that, yes, by putting foods in a block, if you have an intolerance to it, it will definitely help you be less intolerant to it, anywhere from 44 to 75% less. So, but here I want to just also claim one more thing too. That Leela Quantum Tech still does not recommend doing this for all of the various reasons that they don't want to take responsibility, and they shouldn't, for decisions you make. So again, I want to clarify that it is not recommended you do this at home. Just because of the studies and the testimonies. However, we're all adults, and you're free to tinker just as much as I tinker. And my only caveat would be is this demonstrates what we know has been happening for all these years now, and it's just remarkable in its findings that there's this ability for quantum energy to somehow lower the intolerance level of foods that people have problems with. So you're an adult, and if you want to give it a try, that's up to you. It's not recommended, and personally, if you have a severe histamine reaction where you require an EpiPen, then I totally do not recommend that you do that if your intolerance is that severe. There are people that are, if you have to have an EpiPen because you're allergic to something, then yeah, it's highly we just absolutely don't take the risk. However, if it's just something like seafood, gives you, and digestive problems, right? And it's tolerable, then, you might want to give it a try and see if it helps you, because it has helped many, many other people. So there you go. That's the new report on food intolerances that's just came out. Thank you for watching the video. If you want to learn more, you can go to leelaq.com. Quantum Upgrade is the same energy. It's just a different way of receiving it. And if you want to learn more about me, you can find me at the Tinkers Academy, at tinkers.academy. In your URL window, it comes right to my blog. Also on my YouTube channel, I have the full playlist of the benefits of quantum healing video series. And there's many, many more of these videos covering all the other studies as well. So thank you very much for watching the video. And if you like this type of content, feel free to like and subscribe. Appreciate your patronage. So there you go. Have a great day, everybody. Aloha.